Hey friends, it's me, Deeg. Um, just turning the camera on because I got some stuff I want to talk through, and I think maybe it's something that others would appreciate hearing. It's become so apparent to me in these last few weeks just how much it is my choice to go through life alone or not. And the theme of this talk is hard times. Uh, it's been a rough go of late. IRL. September was a funny month. Uh, my wife got first bronchitis that laid her out flat, made her unable to really take care of herself, and then hurt her back immediately when getting when getting well. So I spent the whole month, being who she needed me to be, and I'm glad I was able to do that. I'm proud that I was able to do that. Right when things were getting better, October rolled around, and I was laid off. And we got a fistful of unexpected medical bills. And my cat, my dear sweet cat, woke us up in the middle of the night, howling and yowling. A $1,200 visit later to the animal emergency room. It seems that she hurt her back too, somehow. No idea how. You're treating her, giving her meds, seeing how she does. All the tests came back negative. Anyway, I digress. Oh, and did I mention that a pipe burst in my home, flooded my office, and requiring us to tear apart the entire master bath? That's why I'm coming to you from our spare bedroom rather than from my office tonight. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I don't have to go through this alone. Grateful for my wife, for my cat who, despite what she's gone through and how much I wish she'd just tell us what's going on, I'm still glad she's around. Grateful to my neighbors, grateful to my family, friends, my fellow gamers, all of y'all. Because, the saying is that life is short. And I believe it is. But the surest way to make it seem longer is to try to go through it alone. Don't you think? And there's no disaster so awful that you can't make it worse. So how do we avoid that? Well, one of the people to whom I'm most grateful is my past self, who took his health seriously, who lost the weight, worked on himself, ordered his life, got to the place where I feel tough enough mentally and physically to deal with all this bullshit. And it is bullshit. There was a time where something like this would have bowled me over. In fact, things like this have bowled me over. It's not speculative. There's evidence. This time is different. And I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to take care of my wife and my cat. And if I can get away with it, all of y'all too. Here's the other lesson about hard times. It's something that a former boss of mine once told me. And it's a lesson that I don't believe I've really started to really understand, really get my arms around it until the last few weeks. And it's this: people remember you for who you are to them, not during good times, but they'll remember who you are to them during bad times, during hard times. You can be someone's best friend, closest confidant when times are good, when business is good, when life is full of meaning and purpose, direction, and momentum. But if you're not there when they're going through tough times, that's who you are to them. And most people understand. Most people understand. We all have our own hardships, difficulties. I once read somewhere that on average, most people you bump into on the street are dealing with one or two serious tragedies in their life. Whether it's a health issue for themselves or for a family member, someone losing their grip on reality, financially or otherwise. But people will remember you for who you are to them during hard times. This quote from my former manager came during a hard time at work. And it was all the motivation I needed to step up. And I'm proud of how I dealt with that, but that was years ago. And I don't really think that I really internalized that lesson until the last few weeks when I've been going through all the things I mentioned. Layoff, sick cat, sick wife, burst pipe, and unplanned bills. Because through all of this, the people around me still need me. They still need things. Just earlier today, after getting through a weekend where the most important thing was getting our formerly flooded bathroom and office dry enough so the contractors can come in and turn them back into rooms again. My wife reminded me that I still owe her tech support on the webcam in her Chromebook. And she's right. I may have promised her before all this went down, before I got laid off, before the unplanned bills, before our cat got sick, before she got sick. I promised her that I would help her with that. And it might be reasonable for me to say, you know what? I have too much going on. I can't think about this right now. But I didn't say that because it's important to be needed. And all these things that have happened within my home in the last few weeks, they haven't just happened to me, they've happened to her too. And she will remember who I am to her during these hard times. If I shirk, if I make excuses, if I hide away from responsibility, if I prove not big enough for the moment, she'll love me still. She'll understand. But if I don't do those things, if I don't let go, if I rise to the moment, solve the problem, and make myself into the person that the moment and the people around me need. And if I can do all these things without letting go of who I am and what I'm about, then there's no telling. There's no telling what kind of man I could become. Of this, I'm firmly convinced. People remember who you are to them during hard times. It isn't just about my wife either. This is about stopping to help a neighbor on the street with a flat tire. This is about helping an Uber driver out who doesn't know where the address on his phone is. This is about picking up a piece of trash on the street that's not your responsibility. It's about taking a shopping cart that someone left in a parking spot and putting it where it belongs. It's about being the person needed. It's about recognizing the moment and allowing it to call you forth. All these things, they may seem selfless, but they're not. These things become part of who and what you are. And if you face the moment willingly and sacrifice the parts of yourself that must be sacrificed to rise to them, you'll become somebody dangerous. I don't mean dangerous in a violent way or a chaotic or impulsive way. I mean dangerous in a useful way. I mean effective, useful, desired. Someone who somebody in a hard time would want to have around. So become that person. Become that person who can be relied upon during hard times. You could do a lot worse. I know I certainly have. I know I certainly could. People remember who you are to them when times are hard. Thanks to my former boss for telling me that. You never know when a piece of good advice is going to suddenly germinate in the right situation when your body and mind is ready for it. And look, I'm not just here in the hard times for my cat and my wife. I know a lot of you are going through hard times. I know a lot of us gamers can retreat into games when times are hard. Sometimes that can lead to making them harder. I've done that. Sometimes you could even say I'm doing it. It's not always easy to know the difference. But what I really want to say is, I'm here for y'all too. Planet Mans, Guild Warriors, all of y'all. People remember who you are to them in hard times. Thank you for listening to me speak my mind. Catch you later.